And again, I'm not playing the audio. So here's the guy with the cell phone. Wham, gets hit. You can hear the audio. He's like, ugh.
Yep.
And the dude, the guy providing the commentary here, I'm not even going to say his name, but he tried to validate this and say, if you put a cell phone in my face, I'm going to slap it out of your hand. Okay, tough guy. Quit pretending to be tough on the internet and say you're going to do this, that, or the other. No, it's 2022. You don't go up and slap somebody for having a cell phone in their hand after Tennessee just beat Alabama. Right. You just walk by, go to the locker room, and shut up. Here's the some more of it. Shows a replay of that a couple of times. Then here's the clip with the female as well. I think it shows it a couple of times here.
He's like multiple feet away right there. He reaches out to hit the guy. And he doesn't say anything too. The audio of that specific clip, he doesn't say anything to him. He's just walking past. It's just, why is it looping?
That's a dude with a cell phone. It's the guy providing commentary over it.
I know it's the dude. It's just looping so many times.
Yeah, hold on. It goes to the female here in a second. Good gosh, man. Here it is. Let me skip. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Jeez, Pete. There you go. You see it plain as day right in the middle of the screen. Just goes up and kind of pie faces her.
She doesn't do anything. She just sidesteps him to give him a clear path. And he turns around. He turns around, reaches out, and smacks her in the side of the head.
I wonder how many times he loops this.
I don't know.
I just tried to find the place where it started, but you see it there multiple times. You see it 3 times. He pie faces her. He doesn't punch her, but he makes contact. And again, completely out of line. And everybody's asking about it, saying, Boogie, what do you think? Of course, it's out of line. And Nick Saban should have suspended. I guess start there, Gabe. What do you think should have been the punishment immediately after the game, as soon as that gets back to the coaching staff and Nick Saban?
Just tell the kid he's out for a game. You don't have to suspend. You don't have to kick him out of the practice facility. You don't have to limit his team activities. Just say, hey, man, people are mad about this. You shouldn't have done this. Let's just sit out this one. It's that simple. Instead of, kind of ignoring it is one thing. Acknowledging it and defending it is a whole other thing, especially with no punishment. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, the excuse that he was scared. Really? He was scared? That's why he hit 2 people on his way to the locker room? What about all the other Alabama players that didn't touch a Tennessee fan? What about them? But you're telling me Jermaine Burton was scared of a little college girl that was sidestepping him, so he had to turn around and actually put in the effort to reach out and smack her in the side of the head? That's bullcrap. He should have been suspended, and if Nick Saban didn't, then Greg Sankey should have, because Greg Sankey would be, he would be, I guess, defying his SEC whatever responsibilities if he punished a player for hitting a fan that was on the field like is against the rules in the SEC. But it doesn't. There's not a rule that says nowhere in that rule does it say, if you are a fan, you are subject to being literally assaulted by players. The players they're not zoo animals. They're humans that need to face consequences as well. They have brains to make choices. And Jermaine Burton made a choice to hit 2 people on his way to the locker room, despite having a clear path both times.
Brandon with a good point there, saying this sets a bad example for future games, that fans rush the field to celebrate a big win. Now these guys will think it's okay to hit whoever and not get punished. Pathetic. And I've heard people try to validate it and say that she said something racist, that she spit on him, that she did this or that. It doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't give you the right to assault someone. And if she did, I'm not saying that she's in the right either, but still, there's what I don't get is that there's no punishment whatsoever. He should have been suspended for this game. Let things play out. I don't know what happens here. I don't know if there's a court case. I don't know what. Let's listen to what Nick Saban said after the game.
This week, what went into the decision to play Burton?
Look, I don't know how many of you have ever been in a situation like that, but I talked to him. He was scared. I was scared. Some of our other players were scared.
Scared. Do you know how many times this football team, Alabama's football team and coaching staff, has probably been on the field when teams have stormed the field after beating them.
There's a team
multiple
that people rush the field for. Yeah, when
Yes.
they get beat. Absolutely.
Did Jermaine Burton? I feel like I'm an attorney. Did Jermaine Burton in any way, shape, or form look scared in those 2 video clips that you just saw?
No, he looked angry. Look at
Angry
the
and
expression on his
aggressive.
face. He's angry. He's mad that his team just lost a football game in heartbreaking fashion, and he's angry that all these fans are getting to rush the field because their team just lost.
Let's hear more what he has to say of why he chose to play Jermaine Burton.
I think you learn to respect other people because we have a responsibility to do that regardless of the circumstance that we're in. And, I talked to the guy. We have him in a counseling program. It's not an anger management program, as people announced today. Nobody ever said that. That's not the problem. That's not the issue.
So what is the issue, Nick? What
Yeah,
is the issue?
Why do you have to have him in a counseling program if his anger isn't the problem? What other than anger would cause a reaction like that and cause you to bring that up during this press conference? What? I don't understand.
It's about having the proper respect for other people. And
Not hitting females. It's not.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was necessary to suspend the guy. So if you knew the whole story, maybe you wouldn't either.
Tell the whole story.
Absolutely, yes. I cannot stand this. I've said this multiple times on the show. Big fan of what Jason Swain does. He's the guy that's inside the program, right? He has inside information. And a lot of times on his show, he will kind of come at fans and say, you can't say this or do this or act this way because you don't know the truth. Then tell me the dang truth. Don't sit on the information and then expect me to act a certain way when I don't have the information. So Nick Saban sitting here saying, you don't know the whole story. Well, how about you tell us the whole freaking story and then we can make our judgment. How about that?
Exactly. Yeah, literally. Just say what happened. Say why he was. Did she say were his actions warranted? That's what we need to know. If they were warranted, tell us how. Otherwise, it's gonna continue to look like he just smacked a dude and a woman randomly. It's ridiculous. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Nick Saban as a football coach. I lost a decent bit of it in his responses after the game, whether it's talking about the referees, whether it's talking about this situation. I mean, it's ridiculous. The only danger you really need to feel about fans rushing the field is a stampede, which really doesn't happen anymore. People are pretty aware of that sort of thing. So I think it's ridiculous. I think it's bull crap. I mean, what else can you say about it? I mean, they talked about it on Saturday night game with Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler. Talked about it, and Chris Fowler sort of mentioned the fact that Jermaine was the one that felt threatened, and Chris was just kind of saying what other people were saying, but he never said anything that even insinuated that Jermaine Burton was actually in the wrong. Kirk Herbstreit just said yup and kind of changed the subject really quickly. I think Kirk Herbstreit realized what Chris was doing, and unfortunately Kirk is getting both of them are getting a lot of flack. Kirk never really said anything, but it's just a fact. It's more about what he didn't say. Let's be realistic, guys. On Sunday Night Football, he's not going to stand there and give a tirade about how Jermaine Burton should get suspended. It's just not professional. It's not part of his job. He still hasn't said anything about it. He responded to people saying that he condones assault, obviously saying that he just didn't say anything about it. But it was just weird. It was a weird scenario. And they especially Chris Fowler, just kind of very clearly sugarcoating the scenario and making it seem like Jermaine Burton is the good guy. So that's just, it's so, and that's how the whole national media has been, just ignoring it, sugarcoating it, glossing over details, glossing over the fact that there's literally videos.
Here's the funny thing about the whole situation. Videos. It's like it's all on tape. You can see plain as day. So regardless of what she said, what she did, say she made a racist comment. What if she did make a racist comment? What if she spit on him? How would your perception change? Would you all of a sudden say, well, he shouldn't be suspended? No, he should still be suspended for his actions. Let's compare this, because this is something that happens not on the regular. And again, I'm no professional. I don't do my homework and research and have all these numbers and data. This has happened multiple times at Alabama. We saw it with Jeremy Pruitt when Jeremy Banks got arrested. And the phone call, it's recorded, and Jeremy Pruitt says, we didn't have to do this at Alabama. Like, he knows that Bama bias is real, and he knows that they get away with whatever they want. You said earlier, why doesn't Greg Sankey get involved? Greg Sankey should have 100% got involved and said he's got to sit out at least a week while you let things play out. And then on the flip side of that, you look at a guy like Josh Heupel and how he handles business, and the situation with Jalen McCullough. Let's compare the two situations. You've got a female going onto the field to celebrate the biggest upset probably in her lifetime, walking by a dude and gets pie-faced. Situation B, you got a dude sitting in his apartment with his girlfriend, and a freaking unknown stranger walks in his house and is like, what's up, what's going on? And then makes some smart, I don't know if it was a racist comment there or if he just cussed him, insulted him, made some comment, got punched in the face. Jalen McCullough's been out not 1 but 2 weeks. Look at the two situations and make that comparison. Alabama does this crap all the time.
Right. I think the saving grace for Jermaine Burton is that it happened on the field. There's a lot of things that happen. I mean, in the NFL, dudes literally try and kill each other, and they don't get any legal repercussions. If Jalen McCullough did that to somebody on the field, he might get a penalty. But Jermaine Burton, it being on the field, and that's the other stupid thing is, and that's kind of what I said earlier, is there is a huge lack of accountability for football players in general, because for violent physical outbursts just because they're on the field. If a dude tries to knock a guy out without a helmet on, I mean, what Aaron Donald trying to hit somebody with a helmet. I'm talking NFL, but Aaron Donald trying to hit somebody with a helmet in the head before the season, that's assault. That just because it happened on a football field doesn't mean it's not actually literally a crime. Like, you could legitimately hurt somebody with that. So, like I said earlier, college football players aren't football players in general aren't zoo animals. They're not dangerous creatures to be, stood 6 feet away from. They are human beings that have hearts and minds and the ability to make choices, and a lot of them make the wrong choices and get freaking just excused just because it's on a football field. You know what I mean? You see a college football player punch a dude, he might get ejected from the game, but he punches a dude off the football field, and all of a sudden he's in the legal system and he's out for 2 weeks just because the Knoxville Sheriff's Department can't get their crap together. So I don't know. I think it's a stupid standard, and how much more can you really say?